So after 1,000 miles, let this first segment be about the wear and tear. As someone who commutes to work, who wears a backpack, who carries things in that backpack, I tend from time to time to overweigh the bike. It carries up to roughly 210 pounds, so when I wear a backpack, it carries over that. And as you can see, the back tire is actually a little bit more worn than the front tire, even though I turn with the front tire. So just something to keep in mind, riding with this bike overweight, you will wear the tires. Also, the bike lock I use, even though it's not the most secure, it actually makes it easy to get on and off the bike, lock it and unlock it. Also, I took the kickstand off, or actually it fell off, so I do tend to lean the bike up against walls and things parking it. You can see that the edges of the handlebars maybe just a little bit scuffed. It is a black bike, so scuffs and things of that nature will show. Another thing I noticed was the chain guard. It's a plastic chain guard that has chipped in several places, which looks a little bit tatted up, but most importantly and thankfully, after 1,000 miles, what makes the bike look new is the fact the seat itself looks new. So, of course, that is easy to replace, but the good news here, I don't have to after 1,000 miles because I was able to, and as you can see, leaning it up against things, I have been doing so for quite some time, parking it because it doesn't have a kickstand. It's good to see actually that the seat remains intact and looks new. Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Today, a big box good. This is the Swift Volt Commuter e-bike I picked up at Best Buy. It cost $800. This is a review after 6 months, 1,000 miles. Now, 6 months ago when I purchased this bike in November at Best Buy, the only color option available was black, which is unfortunate because on my main channel, a rule of thumb I usually go by, which actually has saved me, is white during the day, black at night, or light colors during the day, black colors at night. So as someone who likes to use this e-bike to exercise or go to the beach on, it looks a bit out of the ordinary. So what you'll notice is on Best Buy's website, you can have the bike for $200 less than what it costs on Swift's website. But as you might have noticed, it's only available in one color, and that is black. And one thing I dislike about the color schematic of the black bike is it actually tends to look like a city cop. Black and white. It sort of has an authoritative look, which could benefit you on the road and make you more visible. But like I said, in different types of environments other than commuting to work and riding it on the road, it looks, like I said, just a bit dull or mundane or out of the ordinary, which is why on Swift's website, I am happy to tell you it's finally available in a different color, silver. So as you can see, the exact same bike, the Swift logo on the side, but this time it's silver with orange rubber band tires, which actually to me looks far more appropriate, not only for commuting during the day, but for using this bike to exercise, ride through the park, or maybe down by the beach where it's bright, it's sunny, it's cheery, where a black bike might command authority. Instead, you want maybe to look passive and a little bit more relaxed. I think you get my drift. This silver bike, even though it still looks like a commuter bike, might be just a little bit more versatile in different situations if you, like me, enjoy riding the bike on the weekend, for example. Now, one question I get often is, can the battery inside the frame of the bike be removed or replaced? And the answer to that is yes. On Swift's website, in the specifications section underneath the bike, it does say it contains a removable internal lithium ion, 36 volt, 10 amp hour, 360 watt hour battery. It has a charge cycle capacity up to 600 charges. As you can see, after riding the bike for 1,000 miles, the battery has done a phenomenal job of sustaining its quality and lifespan. I can easily obtain 20 miles an hour and ride up to 32 miles, which is the specification of the bike out of the box, brand new. Just a quick Google search though, because soon enough I will need to replace it, will warrant a couple of different options to choose from. A replacement battery for this bike is going to cost roughly a third of the initial price of the bike. So $300, $400. You can see it's easy to find. Just be sure that that battery fits inside the Swift Volt bike, because the entire design aesthetic of the Swift Volt bike, as you can see, is that it hides the battery. So one thing that makes this bike look as sharp as it is the fact it doesn't have a visible battery. I get compliments on this bike all the time. Oh, that is such a sharp bike. That is such a cool looking bike. Is that electric? And the reason I get those questions is because the battery itself is invisible. Now, because commuting to work in the city on an e-bike is super efficient, and because everything in the city is so close by, I take my e-bike everywhere. And one way that I customized my e-bike was actually buying these rubber bands. I'll leave a link in the description below. They were like $10, I think. They're multicolored. I have a green one that I use, and the black one, which came with them, you can see that I use actually over the LCD display. So great for running errands, for protecting the identity of the bike. Slipping this over top the LCD display hides the functions. It hides important information like how many miles I've driven, and also keeps it, I think, just a little bit more discreet looking. It doesn't allude to the fact it's an electric bike because the LCD display is covered. Say what you want about the Swift name, but having this LCD display covered, I think, actually serves a valuable purpose. And also, it does tend to get bright at night riding it. It's actually charging right now. You can't turn it on. So what I use this slip for is to cover the display if it's too bright. In the description below is a link to these rubber bands. This black one matches the bike, which is why I use it. But I pretty much use it to cover the LCD display. Maybe it's really hot out, or like I said, to hide the identity of the bike so that maybe someone interested in stealing it doesn't recognize right away it's an electric bike. Now, because the Swift Volt e-bike is a commuter bike, you will find yourself traveling from time to time with the wall plug. So as you can see, it folds up nicely, it's lightweight, but also Swift Volt kept the commuter in mind because they knew they would potentially be traveling with this. As you can see, what's nice actually about the battery pack, which I failed to address in several of the previous videos I've made about this bike, is of course the charger itself can not only be transported but broken in half actually to be smaller and more portable. And also, if this needs to be replaced, it's a pretty generic prong. You can find this anywhere. It is connected to the wall plug. So that being said, the charge cable can not only be replaced but is transportable as well, something I forget to mention in prior videos on the Swift Volt bike. Anyways guys, that has been a 6-month, 1,000-mile review of the Swift Volt Commuter e-bike I picked up at Best Buy 6 months ago. Today we talked about an all-new Swift e-bike in silver in addition to this one in black. We talked about the wear and tear of the tires as well as other components, and also talked about the longevity of the battery after 1,000 miles. Driven this bike roughly 1,300 miles, and it has performed exceptionally well. Because I picked this up at Best Buy, that does make this a big box good. Thanks again so much for tuning in. My name is John. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notified when I post to YouTube, and share this video with friends and family. Once again, thanks for so much for tuning in. I will see you in the next video.